Most teachers don't quit because they want to or because they stop caring. They quit because they've tried everything in their power to not quit. And so maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've made all the adjustments in your schedule and in your life. You've tried to negotiate with the unreasonable workload that teachers have to deal with. You've looked inwardly and you've tried to work on yourself, and absolutely none of those things have worked. That is exactly the position I was in about 4 years ago. And so what I did is one day I woke up, I went to school, and I quit. It is the best decision that I ever made in my entire teaching career. So in this video, I'm going to show you the new rules to teaching so that you can quit too. Now, I got to tell you, the day that I quit, it's a bit tricky. And the reason why is because I didn't go to school and I didn't slam down my keys. I didn't slam the doors. As a matter of fact, I didn't tell anybody that I quit. And yet everybody noticed a change. They noticed that I wasn't doing certain things. They noticed I wasn't at certain functions and things of that nature. And so what I did is I quiet quit. You may be wondering, what do you mean when you say quiet quit? Well, the most common definition of quiet quitting is to do the least amount possible without getting fired. And that is not what I'm talking about. At Teacher Talk, our definition of quiet quitting is meeting your contractual obligations with excellence, working hours that are within reason, and setting boundaries without guilt. And that means that you are not quitting on your students, you're not quitting on your school, but you are quitting the lie that one person could or should do the work of 3 people. And I want you to know that you're not alone in all this. The data shows that 44% of teachers feel burned out, 61% of teachers are stressed to the breaking point, and 86% say that their job affects their mental health. And it's not because we're lazy, it's not because there's something wrong with us, it's because the system is facing 3 massive systemic issues. Number 1 is the unmanageable workloads between the IEPs, the 504s, all of the state mandates that are put on top of us, the loss of our planning time. The job has outgrown the workday. And that's why teachers on average work 15 hours a week overtime, unpaid. Number 2, there's the post-pandemic burnout crisis. 59% of teachers are already at the breaking point. And this year alone, 300,000 teachers are going to leave the teaching profession, and 270,000 of those teachers will never return to the classroom. And number 3, it's the chronic disrespect. And it doesn't matter if it's coming from the classroom or from the students or from the parents or even the lack of support from your admin. Ultimately, it leaves us feeling like we're carrying the weight of the world and that we're somehow isolated on an island. For the almost 2 decades that I've been in education, that has been the governing rule, but that rule only leads to burnout. And so I want you to know that there is a new and much better rule, and it's this: you are called to be a healthy, steady light in a system that only knows how to burn out. Now, before all the haters jump in, let me be clear. We love our students. We love what we do. We love our craft, but we cannot keep paying the price of old rules. We need new rules. If you understand what I just described, I created a Teach Without Burnout guide. It's free, it's 100% free, and it's always free. You can get it down in the description box, or you can get it right there at that QR code. Either way, make sure you go get it so that you can get back on the road to healing. Now, one of the unique aspects of Teacher Talk is that we are a faith-forward organization, not because we want to be offensive, but that's just who we are. And if we're going to make the transition to quiet quitting, then we're going to have some boundaries, because the proverb says a person without boundaries is like a city whose walls are broken through, is a person who lacks self-control. So when we fail to have appropriate boundaries, what happens is we become vulnerable. We become defenseless, and we become exposed to all of the dangers of burnout and all the things that burnout bring with us. I understand that firsthand, because 4 years ago, my face went completely paralyzed. I mean, I went to work and they thought I had a stroke. My kids thought I had a stroke. My wife thought I had a stroke. Thank the Lord I didn't have a stroke, but it was an onset of facial paralysis as a result of chronic stress. And my doctor looked straight at me and he says, "John, if you don't do something about your stress, then your stress is going to do something about you." And that's why I created the 3 pillars of quiet quitting. Pillar number 1, work the contract, but plan like a pro. The goal is to work contractual hours only without sacrificing quality. And I know that some of you are going to say, well, that's absolutely impossible. And I certainly know the feeling. And that's why you got to kind of start small. The very first thing that you can do is you can work your contract hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you can either come in a little bit early or stay a little bit late on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The key is to have a certain definite cutoff time and don't bring work home ever. Another thing that we can do is batch planning. Don't try to plan from day to day. Use templates so that you can plan a month, even 6 weeks ahead, and that buys back some of the time that you need to spend somewhere else. Another way to plan like a pro is to automate. A lot of us, we use Google Classroom or we use Canvas to house our assessments or to automate our grading, and all of that can be great. We can put in quick checks at the end of a class in order to get a grade, and all of those are good things. But my suggestion is Notebook LM, because you can take all of your lesson plans, because they're already digitized, and you can put them into notebooks and you can recreate those lesson plans over and over and over. You can also create presentations, you can create videos, and you can create study guides, all at the command of a single prompt. Now that is time efficiency. Pillar number 2, learn to say no without feeling guilty. Every single school in America right now is understaffed. And so it's very easy to feel like we have to do things that we're not paid to do, or that we have to do things that we don't have time to do. And so before you say yes, you need to filter each decision through the following matrix. Number 1, does this fit my mission for the year? Number 2, does it fit my calendar? Do I have the time? And number 3, do I have the capacity or the energy to actually do that? If the answer to any one of those is no, don't do it and don't feel guilty. Pillar number 3, focus on relationships, not performance. We got to let the Pinterest perfect classroom go. And I'm going to tell you why. Because number 1, it costs a fortune to make a classroom like that. And that's money that we don't have. And number 2, it's because it takes too much time. Instead, create classrooms that run on autopilot. Strong expectations, procedures, and routines means fewer decisions for you. And the biggest killer of teachers is decision fatigue. So if you create an atmosphere where you have to make less decisions, there will be less fatigue. Create one-on-one connections. Use the energy that you saved in other areas and use it to create connections with students, because connections equal trust, and trust makes the job easier. Now, if you're anything like me, you struggle with creating boundaries, and that's why I created a guide for us. It's called Reclaim Your Limits. It's in the description box, or you can grab it right there at the QR code. It's a free, 100% free, and it's always free, and I want you to go grab it. And by the way, while you're down there, there's all kinds of resources in the description box. Go ahead and check those out too. The writer of Ecclesiastes tells us that there's a time for everything. There's a time to work and a time to rest. There's a time to laugh and a time to cry. There's a time to keep and a time to throw away. And people, specifically teachers, we're created to work in a rhythm, but our job by very nature gets us out of the work-rest cycle rhythm. And a lot of times we feel so guilty about rest, or we feel like we're a failure if we have to take time off or if we have to be away for a day. And so that balance gets out of whack. We don't rest and we don't work in the proper cycles. So one of the resources that I have for you, you can see it right there on the screen. It's Sandra Dalton Brown's Sacred Rest. And in this book, she offers 7 different types of rest, and sleep is the least type of rest. And I want you to go grab that, because when you get life back in rhythm, all of a sudden you're able to handle some of the more difficult things that we face as teachers. And the biggest thing that you're going to learn is that, first of all, we're not called to save everyone. We're not meant to live a life of exhaustion. We're not built to fight every fight. Rather, you are called to be a healthy, steady light in a system that only knows how to burn out. If you're like I was 4 years ago and you find yourself at a crossroad and you don't know what to do, I want you to know that setting boundaries and quiet quitting, that's not a failure. It's actually a victory. And if you want to learn more about some of the unspoken rules that are destroying the mental health and the work-life balance of teachers, then take a few minutes and watch these videos. But more than that, stay strong and keep teaching.